So I want to focus on this whole notion of the celebration of vision. And in 2 Kings, the 7th chapter, the 6th verse, for the Lord had caused the army of the Syrians to hear the noise of chariots, noise of horses, the noise of great armies. So they said to one another, look, the king of Israel had hired against us kings of the Hittites and the kings of the Egyptians to attack us. God still works miracles today at his will. I want to talk for just a few moments about this whole notion of vision. I want to deal with vision and the celebration of vision. Also in that various text, in that chapter, you may find these words, and it says, if we sit here, we die. If we go forward, we die. And they declare, let us go forward. That's in 2 Kings 7:4 as well. I want to talk about the celebration of vision. And the reason that I want to lift this up today is because it is so critical that as you meander through this life, that you hold on and capture a vision for your life in this season. It is one thing for Pastor Mac, for the Union Church, to capture and to cast this vision. But it's another thing for you to have what it is that you believe God is calling you to. I like the way Napoleon Hill said it some time ago. When Napoleon Hill declared, cherish your vision and dreams as if they were children of your soul, the blueprint of your ultimate achievement. And that one of the things that we've got to learn to do in this life is to be able to see God in the midst of everything that we experience. That part of having a vision is seeing what is not there, but knowing that it has the potential of becoming a reality. I want to just back up for a moment and say that vision is so critical because it even determines what it is you do from one day to the next. There are some people who are paralyzed by either a very good day or a bad day. Yes, it is possible that a good day can paralyze you. How is that? Well, there are times and seasons in your life when you can taste the goodness of the Lord. And the goodness of God can be so sweet in your experience that you refuse to wonder what will tomorrow bring. There are some people who are experiencing a sweet spot in their life. And because things are so well, they have become very complacent and very satisfied with where they are. It is possible that a string of good days can paralyze you because you don't want to move into tomorrow because you feel that if I go into tomorrow may shift the goodness that I'm having right now. So then now you face the future with the notion of let me just stay where I am because at least I know this. I'm familiar with this. This is good for me for where I am right now. But when you look at it at the end of the day, it is a form of paralysis. Likewise, a bad day can paralyze you. I I use that word bad very lightly because I know that God can bring good out of every situation. But there are some people who have a string of bad days and a string of days when just calamity and turmoil invades their life and floods their life, and there are days when they don't even want to wake up to see the next day. They don't even want to know what tomorrow's going to bring, because in their mind that tomorrow is just another day of bad things happening. That one day the car breaks down, the next day the job fires you, the next day the child is thrown out of school, the next day now you got to deal with taxes that you have to pay, the next day now you're flooded with so many emotions from hearing of people dying and passing away, and now you have become ingrained with that. It's just a stream of bad news and bad information, and now you have summed up every day to be a bad day. And if you're not careful, a good day, because of its total goodness, can paralyze you. And a bad day, the summation of a stream of experiences that bring pain and calamity in your life, can also paralyze you. That's what we're dealing with right here in this text. We're dealing with a time when King Ben-Hadad had taken over the land, and famine had found its place in the land, so much so until it was not only a drought, but it was so bad that the men were eating other men, and the women were cooking and eating up other men and women. And they had turned to cannibalism, and they were boiling and cooking their children for meals and to survive and to sustain. Can you imagine that? That a famine being so bad that they began to eat their family members and began to turn to cannibalism for survival. I want you to know that during this time, there were lepers for them that sat outside of the city, and they were outside of the city because they were outcast from any normal form of society. They were aware that there was famine in the city, but then if they sat outside of the city, there was no possibility of any means of survival. And so while they were sitting there and they were looking at each other in their sickness and in their condition, they happened to have a democratic process in place to decide what it is that we should do from this point forward. They said if we go forward, we will die. There's famine in the land. Not only that, but we've got to face that army that is looking to kill us because we become a threat to the resources and the food that they have. So if we move forward with our weak cells, our anemic cells, then we will die. But if we sit here, no food, no possibility of health care, no nutrition, no kind of help, no kind of support, if we sit here, we shall die. So one of them made the suggestion, why don't we go forward? Because if we're going to die, we ought not die just sitting here, but we ought to die moving forward. Look at that vision, that I see something greater than what our reality is. So let's move forward and at least give God a try. And then you know how the story ends. For those of you who are Bible scholars, you will know that when they moved forward, that God almost like put a microphone up under their feet and amplified the sound of their feet shuffling and moving. So much so until it sounded like a great army that was coming against their enemy. And the enemy fled because they thought it was a massive army coming to fight them, but it was nothing but 4 little lepers. Can I tell you that there comes a time when God will biggestize you, when God will upgrade you, when God will supersize you and take the little that you have and maximize it unto the place where people who don't even know you, don't know where you come from, don't know who you are, don't know about your journey, don't know about your mistakes. When they see you, they see something more massive than you ever could have become on your own. Isn't it something how you can be born on the wrong side of the track, but God take your story and sanctify it and shift it and breathe on it and anoint it. And by the time you get to where you're going, people will begin to think that you always had a silver spoon in your mouth. You always were able to progress and to be successful. But what they don't know is that the nights you had to cry, the nights you had to sigh, the nights you had to wonder why. They just looking at your glory, but they don't know your story. But God has a way of supersizing you. He amplified their foot stomping, and it sounded like a great army was coming, and so that the enemy fled and left their resources such that the lepers were able to benefit from what they left, and they were able to survive. I want to just say this, that they would not have ever gone if they had not ever had a vision. I'm going to tell you something about a vision, and we'll be talking more about this, but I want you to know how significant and how important it is for you to have vision in your life. You've got to have vision, and this is what we're going to be hitting on for the next few weeks or so as we meander through this season. It is so important for you to have vision, and let me tell you why. You must have vision because vision determines what you can be predicated off of what you see. Vision determines what you can be predicated off of what you can see. That many of us never achieve anything because we don't vision anything. But I want you to know that it doesn't matter how bad it looks right now. Get a vision in your mind of where you want to be and start living as if the vision has already come to pass. Help me, Holy Spirit. I want you to know that there's some more significant things about a vision. And when you're trying to capture a vision, there are a few things that you must do to do that. And you may want to write these down. I'm going to give them to you, and I'm done. One, you need to look within you. How do you feel? What is God calling you to, predicated off of how you feel? What are you sensing in your spirit that God is about to do in your life? What is he shifting you to? How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel often is a nudge for us to do something that God is trying to birth within us. I want you to know that once you look within you, the second thing you need to do is look behind you. One of the reasons that these lepers were able to move forward is because they had seen the hand of God in their life in the past. And when you look back over your life and you see that God has brought you through some things before, even when things were rough and tough before, God brought you through them before, don't you know you can have a vision for your future after you look behind you? If he did it one time, he'll do it again. I dare you to tap somebody or text somebody and tell somebody that it doesn't matter what they're going through. If God did it one time, he'll do it again. So then, developing a vision, you got to look within you. You got to look behind you. Then you got to ask yourself the question. Then you got to look around you. What do you see? What need do you see? What are you waiting on for somebody else to do that God may be calling you to do? Have you ever got into a conversation and you said, somebody needs to do A, B, C, D. Somebody needs to fix that. Somebody needs to come up with an idea of playing. Every time you label somebody else, is it possible that God could be calling you to it? Why are you waiting on other people to do what he's also giving you the same ability to accomplish? So then you got to look. You got to look within you. You got to look behind you. You got to look around you. Are y'all feeling me? I'm almost done. You got to look around you and see what's happening to others and other things. But then you got to look above you. Because here's the deal, that God is expecting something of you. And at the end of the day, your vision is not about you, but your vision is about God. The only reason that God births a vision in your life, whether it's for your business, or whether it's for your home, your family, or whether it's for your personal endeavors, the only reason God gives you a vision is that he gets the glory. Is that he gets the glory. So you got to look above you, and then watch this. Then this would make sense. You got to look ahead of you. Vision is not driving the car looking in the rearview mirror, but it's driving the car looking through the windshield. Vision is not about so much of shaping off of your past. You celebrate your past, but your past is your past. You have to shape vision by looking through the windshield. As a matter of fact, the windshield is much larger than the rearview mirror. And when you shape vision through the windshield, you see more. You vision more. You're able to incorporate more cognitively. And so many of us, as we shape vision, we got to ask ourselves the question, why sit here and die? Why just lay there and die? Why just keep going through the same motions and die? You might as well get up and try something new. Try something different that you've not done before. Because you're going at some point, die whether you're sitting there or die whether you go forward. So you might as well go. Try something new. Try something, do something that God has already given you the plan to do, but you just have not done it. Make 2022 that year that you step out on it.